Mona, son of a thief, why have you come?
The gods asked. Mona, trembling, fell to his knees.
I seek for your forgiveness, great God. I have suffered enough. I beg you to leave this curse from me.
The gods were silent for a moment, their eyes fixed on Mona.
It is not you who angered us, but your father. Yes.
Once upon a time, in the quiet and peaceful village of Nnewi, where people lived simple lives, the village was filled with kind-hearted farmers, traders, and craftsmen. They worked hard every day and gathered in evenings to tell stories, share laughter, and celebrate their lives. Among them was a man named Mona. He was unlike any other man in the village. Very tall, dark-skinned, and incredibly handsome. Mona had a charm that made women's hearts flutter whenever he passed by. Many villagers admired him for his looks. But little did they know that behind that charm was a dark and deadly secret. Mona had arrived in Nnewi a few years ago. No one knew where he came from, but people welcomed him with open arms. He quickly became popular, especially among young women, who would often giggle and whisper when he walked past. Mona, with his piercing eyes and smooth words, never lacked female attention. But there was something strange about him. Although women was drawn to him, those who got too close to Mona never returned the same. They would either disappear without a trace or fell mysteriously ill and died within days. Villagers became a whisper behind closed doors. They spoke in hushed tones about Mona and his relationship with the missing and dead women. No one dared to question him directly, for fear of angering him. Mona had a dark aura that made people nervous, and his mere presence could silence a room. Unbeknownst to the villagers, Mona was cursed. His manhood transformed into a deadly snake whenever he was intimate with a woman. The snake would bite the women, bringing death upon them without warning. This curse had followed Mona for many years, leaving him lonely and feared whenever he went. Despite his charming looks, Mona was trapped by his own horror, unable to love, or be loved without causing death. It all began when Mona was a young boy. His father, a greedy man, obsessed with power, had angered the cause by stealing sacred land from the shrine of Allah, the earth goddess. As punishment, the gods cursed his son, Mona, with a terrible fate. Any woman he became intimate would die. Mona's father, instead of seeking for forgiveness, denied the gods and tried to hide the curse. But the gods' wrath was not easy to deal with, and the Mona's curse grew stronger as he aged. Now, in Nnewi, Mona carried this curse like a dark shadow, unable to confide in anyone or find peace. In the same village lived a brave and intelligent woman named Chimamanda. She was known for her sharp mind and fearless heart. Chimamanda was different from other women in the village. While many were attracted to Muna's charm, she saw beyond his looks. She noticed the pattern of disappearances and the deaths around him, and she became suspicious. Chimamanda's curiosity drove her to investigate further. Even when others warned her to stay away from Muna, Chimamanda began to ask questions. She visited the families of the missing women and those who had died under mysterious circumstances. The more she learned, the more she was convinced that Muna was hiding something terrible. One night, she followed him to the outskirts of the village, where she witnessed something unimaginable. Hidden beside a tree, Chimamanda watched in horror as Muna's body transformed under the light of the moon. His manhood shifted and morphed into a large hissing snake. He was not alone. There was a young woman with him, and as they lay together, the snake bit her. The woman's scream pierced the night, and she collapsed, lifeless, in Muna's arm. Chimamanda's heart pounded in her chest. She knew she had uncovered a deadly secret, but now she had to figure out how to stop Muna before more women died. The next day, Chimamanda gathered the village elders and told them what she had seen. At first, they didn't believe her. Muna had always been quiet and kind, never raising suspicions. But as Chimamanda shared her findings, connecting the deaths and disappearance to Muna, the elders began to realize that something sinister was indeed at play. Soon, gossip spread through the village like a wildfire. Women who had once admired Muna were now terrified of him. Men whispered about the serpent curse, wondering if their own wives and daughters were at risk. The peaceful village of Nnewi was now consumed by fear and confusion. Some villagers wanted to confront Muna and demand an answers, while others thought it is best to leave him alone, fearing what he might do if he heard about it. Muna, sensing that the villagers were turning against him, became more isolated. He avoided the market, no longer made his usual visits, and remained hidden in his hut at the edge of the village. Chimamanda knew that simply exposing Muna wasn't just enough. She had to find a way to break the curse. Determined, she sought help from the village's oldest and wisest healer, Mama Nnukwu. The old woman listened to Chimamanda's story and nodded gravely. Even heard rumors about the god's wrath.
There is only one way to end this curse,
Mama Nnukwu said.
Muna must face the gods and seek for their forgiveness. But it will not be easy. The gods are not quick to forgive. The journey to that sacred shrine is very dangerous.
Chimamanda decided that she would help Muna, no matter the cost. She approached him one evening, not with anger, but with compassion. Muna, who had been living in fear and ashamed for years, was taken aback by her kindness.
Why do you want to help me, Chimamanda?
Mona asked, his voice heavily with sorrow.
Because I believe no one is beyond saving.
Chimamanda replied,
You did not choose this curse, and I will not let it destroy you or anyone else.
Touched by her bravery and kindness, Mona agreed to accompany her on the journey to the shrine of the gods. Together, they set off, facing dangerous beasts, wild animals, and the anger of the gods themselves. After days of traveling, they arrive at the sacred shrine. The gods appear before them in form of towering, growing spirits. Their voices thundering like a storm.
Mona, son of a thief, why have you come?
The gods ask. Mona, trembling, fell to his knees.
I seek for your forgiveness, great God. I have suffered enough. I beg you to leave this curse from me.
The gods were silent for a moment, their eyes fixed on Mona.
It is not you who angered us, but your father. Yet, you have carried his sin. If you wish to be free, you must prove your heart is pure.
In that moment, a great snake, larger than any other snake Mona has ever seen, came out from the shadows. The snake represented the curse, and the curse demanded that Mona defeat it in combat to prove his worth. With Chimamanda by his side, Mona faced the serpent. It was a dangerous battle. The snake's fat dripped with venom. Its hissing echoed through the shrine. Mona fought bravely, but it was Chimamanda's quick thinking that saved them. She struck the snake with a sacred herb given to her by Mama Nnukwu, weakened it enough for Mona to deliver the final blow. As the snake fell, its body turned into dust, and the curse was lifted. The gods were pleased with Mona's bravery and Chimamanda's loyalty. They forgave him. They declared that Mona was now free from the curse and that no harm would come to any more women in the village. Mona and Chimamanda returned to the village as heroes. The villagers, once fearful of Mona, now celebrated his return, and Mona was finally able to live in peace. Mona and Chimamanda grew closer after their adventure, and soon their friendship blossomed into love. They were married in a grand celebration, and the village rejoiced in their happiness. From that day on, Nnewi returned to its peaceful way, and the story of Mona's curse became a tale passed down through generations, a story of bravery, forgiveness, and love. The end.